Hey friends, it's noon and I am so happy to be back in my apartment in New York City. Me and Nelson hanging out. It always seems impossible until it's done. I think that's how we're starting to feel about being on lockdown, right? It's like impossible to live like this for very much longer. But in fact, we're going to make it and it's going to be done. I actually had a little glimmer the other day of like what it's going to feel like on the other side of this. Like I found myself thinking, I wonder if I'm going to remember these details of what it was like to walk around New York with everyone in masks and not being able to tell if people are smiling or not. Wondering if, you touch that doorknob, was that a problem? Do I have to go wash my hands right away? It's all kind of surreal, and yet it will end at some point in the relatively near future, and then we probably won't remember half of what we're going through right now. Anyway, good to see you guys. Hi, Bianca. Hi, B. Today, I wanted to share a little bit about a workshop that I did yesterday. I always do a mindset teaching, and I did a workshop called the Go Big Mindset yesterday for Elevate, one of our partners here at $1 Million Women. They're also a women's collective, so it's nice to get our communities together, and community is so important right now. So good for you for showing up today and for being part of the $1 Million Women community. Together we can come up with really great solutions for how to get through this time together. And what came up when I did the Go Big Mindset workshop was the notion of limiting beliefs. And if you've done a little bit of mindset work already, you probably know this term. It's when you have a belief about who you are or what you can do in the world that limits you, right? That's why it's called a limiting belief. And it's not true, but it feels like it's true. So the metaphor we talked about yesterday in my Go Big Mindset was that when you have a thought over and over again, it's like you're watering the thought. Like you have a sapling and you plant it in your backyard and you start watering it, and soon it grows into this big oak tree with branches and deep roots, and you look out your window and you see this huge oak tree, and it just feels like it's the truth, right? With a capital T. That oak tree's always been there. It's always going to be there. That's just the way it is. And that's how our limiting beliefs feel to us. They feel so true, so real, right? Like a big limiting belief that I had to get over, that I wrote about in $1 Million Women, was when I thought I couldn't run a multi-million-dollar company because I had never gone to business school, that I didn't have the business chops to run a multi-million-dollar company. And this was such a limiting belief, right? I had a creative background. I had gotten an undergrad degree in filmmaking and women's studies, and then I got an MFA, a Master's of Fine Art in film. So I had degrees, but they weren't in business. And so I thought, I can't possibly raise money. I can't possibly grow my business past 6 figures to 7 figures. And until I uprooted that limiting belief and got rid of it and replaced it with a more empowering one, I was never going to get to 7 figures, no matter how many business classes I took or inspirational books I read, including the biography of Steve Jobs. I feel like I'm kind of doing homage to Steve Jobs today. He always wore the black turtleneck. I've got the black t-shirt. That's about all I could muster today, was the black t-shirt. I was like lying on my bed a few minutes ago, like, oh my God, I am so tired. Am I really going to do CEO check-in? Because I didn't sleep very well, but I didn't want to miss seeing you guys. So I'm glad I'm here. And what's my point? Limiting beliefs. Right. So until I got rid of this limiting belief that I couldn't run a multi-million-dollar business just because I hadn't gone to business school, I wasn't going to make the moves I needed to make in order to actually get to 7 figures and beyond, right? I had to go out and raise venture capital. I had to build a board. I had to learn how successful CEOs run their companies. All things I was able to do once I uprooted this limiting belief. So if you have an oak tree in your backyard, right? If you look out your mental window and see something about yourself that you're so sure is true, right? Like, I'm not good with money, or I'm not the kind of person who, people want to invest in, or I can't charge high prices. Whatever it is that's blocking you, there is a way to pull up that oak tree, roots and all, and get rid of it and plant a new sapling with the opposite belief, right? The way to get rid of a limiting belief is that you identify it, you pull it out, and then you plant a new belief that's the opposite. So a positive belief in its stead, and then you start watering it. And the way you do that, I outlined this in my book, Million Dollar Women, and my new book will be all about these mindset practices. But in short, the way you do that is you start taking action steps towards the positive new belief. So if my positive new belief was, I'm totally capable of running a multi-million dollar company, all right, well, what would a person running a multi-million dollar company be doing? And then I had to start taking those steps, even if they didn't feel comfortable, even if they felt so like not me, right? Because I thought I wasn't good at that or I wasn't capable of that. So I had to do things like put together a pitch deck, go out and raise money. I ran a product business, so we really needed a lot of capital to go head to head with the big guys in our industry. We were in the children's world, running Little Pim. But if you're in a services business, it might not be about raising capital. It might be about joining networks of very successful people so that you can be in different rooms with different people who can pay top dollar. It might be about working with a coach and finding a new strategy for your business. Just because you haven't made a lot of money yet doesn't mean there isn't a lot of money to be made. I was just on a call this morning with someone who feels so stuck, and she was so anxious about her business. She says, pretty much not $1 has come in since the pandemic started. And I really felt for her. And yet at the same time, what she told me about her business, we were on a call for over an hour, I saw tons of opportunities there. So if she joins our program, I'll be helping her to uncover those opportunities and kind of pick the low-hanging fruit, right, of figuring out where there's money to be made. But my point here is that just because you don't know how to do it, doesn't mean nobody else does. But until you're in that frame of mind where you're not blocking yourself from the help, you're never going to find those answers or reach out to the people who can help you. Or even if you do reach out to them, will you be in a state to follow their advice, right? If you're still so convinced that it's not possible. So just a few thoughts to chew on today about limiting beliefs. I'm working on my book that features 8 mindset best practices so that you can have what I call the go big mindset. It's something we've been talking about for years in our community in a piecemeal kind of way, but now I'm putting it all together into one book, and I'm really excited about writing it. I'll be spending all of June doing that. So if you're interested in that, let me know, and maybe there's a way to get you involved. I'm going to have a small group of readers who are going to read the early drafts, and if that interests you, let me know, and we can put you in that group. But let's see who wants to go live today. So that was a little mindset teaching. Let's see if Bianca wants to go live today. I'm reaching out to Bianca from Body Positive Boot Camp. Hey there.
Hey there.
How's it going today?
Going great. How are you?
Good. I'm good. I'm a little sleepy, like I said.
Right.
I had that minute of like, maybe I'll just cancel today. And then I looked on my Instagram live and I was like, oh no, I just announced it 20 minutes ago because somebody on my team does that for me. So
Okay.
I'm glad you're here so that I don't feel like I should have been napping.
Yeah, I'm sorry you were tired. Sometimes it just goes like that.
Thank you. Right? We all have those days. I'm having one of those days.
Yeah.
How are you doing today?
I feel like $1,000,000. I have a lot of work to do being in your coaching group. So I've been feeling really inspired the past 24 hours and getting.
Oh, I'm so happy to hear that. I need that. I need your good energy. You can give me the good energy back.
There you
go. Thank you. I'll take it. What are you working on right now? Maybe you can help inspire some other business owners. So I know you've been looking for the low-hanging fruit, and maybe share what you do for people who are new to these CEO check-ins.
Yeah. So my name is Bianca, and my business is called Body Positive Boot Camp. It's a fitness business where we serve customers online, and our slogan is that it's affirming AF. So what I'm working on right now is some pricing that we discussed yesterday. I put some more beefy packages together for my customers as far as pricing goes, and I'm thinking about branding in terms of who my ideal customer is.
Yes. And that's actually one of the exercises. That all sounds great. And that's one of the exercises in Million Dollar Women Masterclass, which you're in, is you're going to be doing a customer avatar. And if you want access to that sooner, you could just ask Maddie, my chief of staff, and she could send you that exercise sooner if you want to do that exercise now. Because, we release the modules, only 2 per month. Right. But if that's something you're focused on now, which I know you are, that might be a good idea to just dive in and fill that out.
Yeah, that might be a good idea. I'll email Maddie.
Yes. And just for the sake of other people watching, what we were talking about with Bianca is right now she's got a really good, loyal customer base. But she's wondering about, could she also attract some higher dollar customers with a different package and a different marketing strategy that would appeal to that different customer base? So if that's something that you're thinking about watching, like, okay, I've got some customers. I mean, Bianca's in a good situation in that she still has paying customers. Not everyone's in that situation. As I was saying, this woman I talked to this morning, like 0 sales for the last, 2 months. So that's great. But it also means if there's a little money coming in, that buys you the breathing room to think about, okay, is this the business I want? Or did I just build this because this was the fastest, easiest thing to do? And now to pause a minute and think, okay, who would I really want as my customer? And then what kind of package would they need?
Right.
So does that sound about where you're at, Bianca?
Absolutely. Yes, indeed.
And any part that you're wondering about that I can maybe help with today? Did you do any work since yesterday? And did that bring about any new questions?
Well, I did implement the Refer a Friend program that we discussed together, and I have been getting some referrals, which I'm so grateful for. I actually taught a workout class last night at 6 p.m. and I had someone tuning in from Israel. So that was really cool. So,
oh, wow. International. That's awesome.
Yeah.
And are you talking about the referral program during the class? Like, how do you message it?
So I sent out an email, and then if people were interested in taking advantage of the referral program, they would email me back, and I would just set them up by email. My question was, based on the Refer a Friend program that I have in place, is that the best way to find a lot of customers right now? Because one of the things I am trying to do is scale my class, and that can accommodate up to 100 people in a class. What's the most blockbuster way to get a lot of customers at once and build my email list?
Well, I think the best way to get a lot of customers is to create a partnership with another company that reaches a similar customer type. And so you already had one great idea with the company we talked about on the phone yesterday, which is the fashion company. So I know you're going to work out a partnership with them. But what I like about that is that if that works, or you don't even have to wait and see if it works, you could already reach out to other companies like them. This is a tried and true method that startups use to grow their customer base, is to find other companies selling to the same customer and to do partnerships, cross promotions. And I think it's such a great thing to do right now, because sometimes it's really hard to get a hold of the right person, in those companies. But I just think it's a quieter time. People are more likely to talk to someone, they don't know, or explore an opportunity, especially if you have a pretty big following on Instagram. Actually, I haven't looked at your followers recently. How many followers do you have, Bianca?
Only 2,400 followers.
You have 2,400. Okay. But for certain brands, maybe that's as many or more than they have, right?
Right.
And they'd feel like, hey, her, like, let's say it was like a water bottle company, right? I'm just using a random example. So who uses water bottles? People who are working out, right? Into fitness. I mean, these days everybody uses water bottles, but you see a lot of people like showing up at their classes with their water bottle, or, they do their fitness class and then they grab the water bottle, or they have it right there while they're working out. So you could see where like a water bottle company would maybe want to partner with you, right? Because you're not selling what they're selling and they're not selling what you're selling, but the people in your program are the right customer for them as well.
True. It's funny that you said water bottle. I used to have I had a temporary sponsor with a water bottle company at one point, and maybe it's time to loop back and connect with them again.
Absolutely. I think that's a great idea to reach back out. Actually, it's something I've been doing as well, because I have a new coaching client I started with yesterday for one-on-one coaching. And when I went into my Dropbox to look back at notes from prior coaching clients, I saw all these names of people. And I was like, oh gosh, Katie and Molly and Ellie and all these people who, meant so much to me over the last 2 or 3 years. So I actually just wrote a short email to each of them. And I was like, hey, checking in. How are you doing, during this weird time? Do you want to jump on a 30-minute call? And I figure, I want to know how they're doing. And if any of them have new coaching needs, then I'll find out on that call. And, maybe I'll have 10 calls and maybe it'll lead to one new client. That's fine, right? It's good to like stay in touch anyway. I mean, I always say with reaching back out, it's good if you do it just for the right reasons, right? Like just to reconnect. And then if you do enough of them, 1 or 2 is bound to turn into something. But if you don't go into each call like, oh, I really want this to turn into something, right? That's better.
Yeah. It's almost like you have to listen for the opportunity in the conversation and like segue into it in a nuanced way.
That's right. And look at it like it's a numbers game, right? Like if you have 20 conversations, maybe one or two people is going to need something. If you have three conversations, odds are pretty low, right?
Right.
And so
Exactly.
that's the mistake I see people make sometimes is they're like, I'm going to reach out to past clients, and they call four people.
Yeah. That's not
Right? And
enough.
then they're like, okay, I did it. It's like, not really. No. How about you
Yeah.
add a zero? Call 40
Yeah,
people.
exactly. I was gonna say add 2 zeros. It needs to be more like 400.
Can you think of some past folks you could reach out to, like the water bottle company?
Yeah, I can put my head to yeah, I can think about some of that. The water bottle company would be a great person because I already have the relationship, and I'll just think of something creative to pitch to them as a new campaign.
I think that's terrific. And also, look, people are impressed by anyone who's still doing business right now, right? So I think if you lead with, hey, even though a lot of trainers are down right now, like my classes are filling up and here's who I have showing up every day and my community is really, fired up. People want in on that, right? So
Yeah,
I wouldn't underestimate that. It's not all about having, a million or 2 million followers. If you have
right.
2,400 followers who are super engaged, that's going to be interesting to someone.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, even if it's like 100 people that are engaged, it's 100 really loyal people, so they have that experience to speak to.
That's right. And also, even the big companies are doing the calculation right now of how can I use this time to engage with more people, even if they don't turn into customers right now. Because let's not forget that, as small business owners, we really need to have some customers coming in right now to pay the rent and keep the lights on. But if you're Nike, let's say, I mean, sure, they don't want to have a down quarter, right? But they're not actually hurting money-wise, right? So
Right.
they might want to use this time to say, like, if I'm Nike, maybe there's people in meetings at Nike right now going, there's this whole body positive movement happening, but like we really haven't gotten in on it, right? And then they get an email from you and it's like, oh, body positive boot camp. Let's use this time to, create a relationship with this woman who's right at the heart of this movement.
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know how much time we have, but I wanted to just mention one of the target clients that I want to work with more are women who are ages 50 and up. Of course, we have to target people online right now because of COVID and we're not able to do our standard networking. Do you have anything off the top of your head? How can I connect with women who are ages 50 and up to recruit them to be a part of my business as customers?
Well, it's funny you mentioned women ages 50 and up. 50 is the new 30, so I'm glad you're mentioning it. I'm post 50, so I love that. There's a new Forbes 50 over 50, which is super cool. So
cool.
One thing you could do is check that out online and then see if you have any connections to any of those women on LinkedIn, or maybe even just cold write them. I'll share that there's this woman, Cindy, I'm going to blank on her last name. I think it's Cindy Gallup. She was at LinkedIn and no, not LinkedIn, sorry, Salesforce, and which
Okay.
Mark Benioff is the CEO. And she noticed that there's this huge gender pay gap, that all these women were making like, I don't know what, only 40% of what their male colleagues were. That's not the right number, but you get the idea. And she brought it to the attention of Mark Benioff, and he massively changed the pay structure, spent billions of dollars to fix it, and was like touted in the CEO world as someone who's actually doing something about closing the gender gap. Now, the reason I bring this up is that I wrote an article about the importance of closing the gender pay gap, and we work on that too here at Million Dollar Women. And I cited her at the beginning. I said, I think the title of the article was even like, one woman spoke up and one billionaire listened, or something like that. And I told her story at the top of the article. Now, I don't know her from anything. She's in Seattle. I'm in New York. But I got on LinkedIn and I was like, hey, I just featured you in my article. She wrote back. Right? And this is pre-pandemic, okay? So this is not because she was sitting around with nothing to do. This is because if you approach someone in the right way, hi, I fund women, hi, Tiffany, hi, Laura, hi, guys, nice to see you. If you approach people in the right way, and if you play the volume game, right, if you approach 40 people, then some of them are going to write back. So if you get busy and start reaching out to these women who are featured in the 50 over 50, that could really yield a whole new population that you could sell to. Maybe that's your Equinox group. Remember we talked yesterday about the Equinox offering.
Yeah, exactly. I think women over 50 are almost can be considered the forgotten population in the body positivity movement, because it's typically geared toward younger people. And yeah.
Well, we talked about that yesterday, and I see the skull is gone. Did you change your logo since yesterday?
I took your advice, and I wanted to be more welcoming to people.
I love that. Well, thank you. I am honored. I feel very unhip having admitted that, but my 12 and 15-year-old are cringing right now. Like, Mom, you made her take away the skull? That was so cool.
You know, that was from years ago when I first started, and I'm glad that you mentioned that to me yesterday, because my target customer has changed, and so therefore the branding must change.
Well, I'm so glad that you see it that way, and good for you for not being too attached, right? Because I think as business owners, we just have to always be evolving, listening to our customers, changing things up. The class you're in, master class, those used to be 1-hour modules that you have to watch the whole thing all the way through. But we're in almost year 5 now, and people's attention spans have gotten shorter, right? Everyone's on YouTube. Yeah. So we had them chopped up into 15 to 20-minute segments, so that you didn't have to watch a whole hour, right? And that was because we were listening to our customers, watching how the landscape is changing. So we're doing it, you're doing it, we all have to be doing it, right? In order to stay relevant and keep serving up our customers what they want and need.
And I must say, I really do like the 20-minute segments, because there's a lot of information in those modules, and it allows me to, maybe sit and watch it and listen to the module for 20 minutes, and then I can sit and think about it for 20 minutes, and there's my hour.
Oh, I'm so happy you said that. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because we just paid to have that done, right? That didn't make us any money, but I was like, I want to stay relevant. So thank you for saying that you prefer that format.
Yeah, absolutely. I really like it.
I appreciate that. We have with us is Laura Chipres, who was our chief of staff for a year, and now is off working in a big real estate job, which I hope is still up and running with the pandemic. I'm not really sure, but I'm going to check in with her. But I'm so happy we had this time together, B. Keep up the awesome work. Thank you. I can't wait to hear what comes out of your 50 over 50 excavation project.
Yeah, I'll keep you posted. Thank you, Julia.
Super. Nice to see you today. Have a great one.
See you. Bye.
Bye. All right. So glad I didn't just stay asleep on my bed, even though it was tempting. Let's see if Laura Chipres, let's see if she wants to go live with me today. I'm putting you on the spot. Yes, I am. Let's see. No, she's not going for it, but I'm happy to see you pop up. Laura helped us to build $1 Million Women and run our 3rd annual $1 Million Women Summit. She is a force of nature, and I was so lucky to have her working with us for over a year and $1 Million Women. We also have Nicole with us from the $1 Million Women team. Nicole, thank you for doing all the great promotion of CEO Check-In. Aren't you glad I woke up? Nicole was the one promoting CEO Check-In while I was napping. There she is!
Hey,
Yay!
sorry, I just looked like crap. I was like, oh my God.
You're like, wait, I gotta take the ponytail out. Hey, I didn't even put on blush or anything. I was like, all right, throw the lights on, black t-shirt. It was one of those days. How are you doing?
Pretty good, doing great. Just getting used to the new normal, as they call it.
Yeah, what's yours look like? What do you do every day?
We're actually doing the same thing as we were doing in the office, still holding the meetings. Obviously now during with Zoom, everything just went virtual. Everybody's working remotely, business as usual, and we're just trying to keep it fun at the same time.
But so you're in real estate. How are they doing that? Help me understand. I'm curious. I wonder what real estate people are doing.
Yeah, so it's actually, obviously it's slowed down a little bit because a lot of people are trying to hold off and see how everything's going to play out. But at the same time, there are those people that want to take advantage of the opportunity. So, as, the CVS's, the Walgreens, things that are open that are considered essential, they're still moving around. So even though some things are on hold, like restaurants and things that are closed, like hotels, but the properties that are, I guess going also bankrupt, people are taking advantage of the real estate as well. So there's a lot of movement happening. It's just in a different manner. But yeah, things
and that's a good reminder, right? Everything is not at a standstill, right? So exactly. In your world, there are still things happening. And so are you managing people remotely, or remind me what you do, and also for the people watching?
Yeah, absolutely. So I help run the entire company more or less in the back, So I make sure that everything's running smoothly, from making sure that the tech's working. Like the other day, the Outlook just went off, emails weren't being sent, things weren't being received. So I make sure that I troubleshoot all of that. Same time with meetings. Right now we're actually hiring people as well, which You know, it's
Wow,
not a
that's
thing that a lot of
unusual.
people are doing. Yeah,
That's cool.
so
What are you
that's
guys hiring people for?
for investment sales associates. So we have a couple of openings here in New York. We're also looking for somebody in California. We just launched our capital markets department late last year. So we're hiring a couple of people to join that group. So yeah, I mean, things are moving. We're continuing with the same goals and plans that we had before, you know, the whole thing happened. So it's awesome.
Wow, that's great. Well, they're so lucky to have you, because when you were at Million Dollar Women, I just remember feeling like, wow, we went from like toddlers to like being full on, you know, upright walking adults. Like, you put in so many amazing systems and gave me so much support, and all the women in our community love you and miss you. So it's so
I
nice to
miss
see you
everybody
pop
as
up
well.
here. Yeah, we still have to have that drink with you, me, and Maddie.
I know, crazy.
That
Just
was like gonna
everything's got
happen
to
right before the pandemic. I think we were gonna go all have that drink, and then everything just went wonky.
crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And also, Laura, I'd love to hear how it went when you did that. I think it was a 21-day abundance challenge. Is that what it was? Right at the beginning of the pandemic. Will you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so I mean, I got invited. So the way it works is like somebody invites you, and then at the fifth day, you get to invite other groups. And obviously, the point is to continuing, you know, the chain to with other people and sharing it. So it was really cool because it had like a daily meditation. So it gave you the mantra. I also gave you like different exercises for you to reflect on things that, you know, are there, but you normally don't think about. So, you know, when it comes to things that you owe, or, you know, things that have to do with your family, things that, you know, you might have stuck in your subconscious that you're not necessarily bringing up every day. So it makes you sit down, makes you think about it, reflect. It also puts you in touch with like your mom, like what were things that she didn't accomplish. So, you know, it opens
Oh,
up your
wow. So
eyes
like
to,
has a lot of prompting questions and stuff. It doesn't just say go meditate. Like, it actually gives you things to think about.
exactly. It also gives you that was the, like, I think the part that I enjoyed the most, because as you know, I meditate, you know, every day.
I know. And
So
we talked about that on your job interview. I remember that was something we bonded over,
yes,
that we both love
the
meditating.
meditation part was
And
not like the new thing, but I think the writing part is something that, especially now with the quarantine, you kind of don't think about. But you know, it's just making sure that you're continuing to do this exercise. So you know, it just keeps you present as far as like what is going on, what has happened, reflecting, and then just making sure that you move forward with everything that you had
do you
planned.
think it helped you with your mindset during this time?
Yeah, it did. It just makes you think of like I said, how to do things differently. So it also made you think of, you know, mistakes that you've made and how to improve them. So, you know, when you're sitting down and you're actually thinking about like what happened, you know, last week, what could I have done better? You know, and it just, you know, gives you a time to sit down and actually look into that stuff instead of, you know, getting all distracted because of all the social media and news and all these crazy things happening around
Right.
it.
I
It
know
just
we
gives
have to
you
be
a
so
moment.
careful about what we let into our energy zone right
Oh
now,
my
right?
God.
Because you could just
Yes.
get dragged down so fast. If women
So,
are watching this and wondering, hey, I'd like to do that, where could they find out more information about this, Laura?
yeah, I mean, if they want to honestly just send me an email, I will be more than happy to share because I have the 21 days and I have the mantra. And, you know, it's fun to have it in a group because you also see people, you know, completing the thing, going it through with you. And then at the same time, at the end, you get to share what your experience was, you know, how it helped you. So it's pretty cool. You
It
know, it's
sounds really cool. I was really honored when you invited me to do it, and it was right when I was moving to Westport and getting CEO
I
check-in up
think
and running.
everybody
I was
was
like,
going
I can't do
crazy.
one more thing. And I have my own, as you know, meditation practice and gratitude practice
Yes.
and whatnot, although I'm sure I would have loved it. So can you put your email in the comments? Is that all right?
Yeah,
And then
absolutely.
that way, if people want to email and ask you for it, you know, this is a great time to try out something new on the mindset boosting front. One of the reasons Laura and I love working together is we're both big believers in sort of creating our own reality and doing that through meditation, through mindset work. We can't choose what the world does, right? But we can choose what we make of it and what we focus our energy on. And
Exactly.
doing any of these meditation practices really builds your ability to choose where you put your focus. And that is one of the most critical skills that you can have in life. And Laura, you were so amazingly focused. I remember, Laura, we worked out of my apartment at that time. You used to arrive at 9:30 a.m., like on the dot, and you'd sit down and start working. And I swear, if I didn't say like, let's go to lunch, you would just work straight through to like
Still the same.
3. So whatever you're doing, it's obviously helping you to be very focused, among other things. And you just have a huge, beautiful heart. And it's so, so nice to see you today.
Yeah, thank you for having me here, even though I look all, I just worked out. So
You look
got me
great. You look fabulous. No, like totally natural. And congrats again on the engagement. Do you guys have a date set for the wedding?
Uh, those are, not the best news and things that have happened throughout this whole thing. We had a plan for Thanksgiving break, but obviously with everything unknown and, Mexico border closed for any traveling. So at this point,
Yeah.
like they were canceling our flights. We were supposed to fly next weekend to do like the check-in. So we just like, you know what, let's not even
Gonna
stress
push it.
out. We pushed it to next year. We pushed it to November next year. Like just to make sure, and it's also, we wanted to take into consideration the financial, status of everybody. Not everybody, is lucky to have a job, work from home, work remotely,
Right. You have a lot of family in Mexico. Is everyone going to fly there in this environment?
Yeah, exactly. The people are
thoughtful
our
of you.
friends. So just, being
Yes.
considerate of the situation and not putting anybody at a tough spot. So we're trying to actually do I don't know if you saw that they passed an order here in New York where you can get your marriage license online. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
So what I'm doing, or what we're trying to do, if we're still close, we're gonna get the marriage license online, which the first spot was until July. So I already signed up for my appointment, and maybe we'll do a virtual Zoom wedding where
if you have a Zoom wedding, I want to be there. I want to dance at your wedding, even if it's right here in front of my books.
Yeah. So this one would just be like like a temporary court, just to do something this year. We can call like the entire family, friends, everybody's on Zoom, and something simple, and then we'll have the actual reception and the big wedding next year.
Look, everyone's getting very creative. I just did a Zoom baby shower for a good friend of mine.
I saw that.
21
It was
people
pretty cool.
all over the world on a Zoom baby shower, and I had a cake delivered to our house, so that helped.
That was awesome.
All right, my dear. Well, listen, so nice to see your face today. Have a wonderful day, and we'll be in touch again soon. But thanks for jumping on.
Thank you.
Bye, Laura.
Bye.
Take care. All right, everybody. CEO check-in ends for today. Say goodbye to me. Say goodbye to Nelson. Don't forget, it always seems impossible until it's done. And I will see you guys again on Monday for CEO check-in with a little bit more sleep and a little bit less black. I'll go more colorful Monday when I'm more awake. Have a really good rest of your week. And watch out for that energy zone around you, right? Don't watch too much news. Protect it. Protect it. I'll talk to you soon. I'll see you soon. Bye. I'm going to go take a nap.